Welcome to this week's version of Nickels and Dimes, our weekly video series. Well, if you have been living under the rock, you're probably not familiar with something that has been in the headlines recently, and that is tariffs. I'm sure most of us are familiar with the news headlines. We see it on social media or reading in the newspapers, and of course, watching it on TV. So today, I'm going to talk to you about what you should be doing or maybe not doing with respect to tariffs, because I will tell you, I've gotten a lot of questions recently about what we should do with a portfolio. Should we make changes because of the new tariffs? So let's jump in and explore and answer some of those questions. And by the way, if you find value in this video, if you see it on social media, go ahead and share it or forward it to a friend. So tariffs, should you adjust your portfolio now? Now, I know what you're seeing in the headlines. So Trump's tariffs will cost you a lot of money. I know Trump ruffles a lot of feathers, and it's absolutely understandable. And when we see headlines like this, that the tariffs will rock the global business world and companies are ready to increase prices, and there's going to be a trade war with Mexico, Canada, and China. And when you see headlines like this, Trump's tariffs usher in new trade wars, the ultimate goal remains unclear. When you see headlines like this, you're probably not going to make the best investment decision, because you're likely responding or reacting to this emotionally. And usually when you make emotional investment decisions, it likely is not going to work out, in my opinion. So please do your best to ignore the headlines. And if you're on social media, limit your time on social media, because in my opinion, the media's job, that means the print media, the digital media, the news media, their job is not necessarily to educate you, is not necessarily to give you the most objective information. Their job is to make you watch. And what they do is to create sensational headlines and emotionally triggering headlines so you watch and you stay connected. Now, I'm not saying this is not a potential challenge for the markets, meaning the tariffs. Of course they are. But in my opinion, you need to, or you ideally should not react again emotionally and follow a game plan. So let's, for example, if you reacted emotionally to this headline, or if you're watching CNBC or the news and say, there's tariff concerns, there's stock market concerns, you might not make the best decision with your portfolio. If you see a headline like this was years ago in 2018, when the headline read, Trump's tariffs will damage world prosperity. You might not make the best decision. You might react emotionally and get out of the market. In fact, I was looking here after this headline, this again, it was in 2018, the S&P 500 is up over 100%. So let's assume you read this headline, had $1 million in the market, and sold everything you had because you were concerned because you read this headline. You would have missed out on a significant gain. So $1 million would have turned into $2 million, generally speaking. You would have missed out on all that gain if you reacted emotionally to a headline like this. So you might be thinking, well, what do I do? So I want to remind you, because we talk about this a lot. These are, in my opinion, the things you must have. You must absolutely have a plan. Once you have a plan, you'll know where you're going. Now, Yogi Berra was famous for saying, if you don't have a plan, you'll end up somewhere else. I absolutely agree with that quote. Number two, you have to have clarity on your goals. What are your goals and objectives? Number three, understand your risk tolerance on a scale of 1 to 10. Are you very low risk? Are you high risk, like 10? So get clarity on what your risk tolerance is. 4 here is have a growth and protection strategy. We're always looking to protect our portfolio. Risk management is key, but you have to do it prudently. And number 5 here, know what your family index number, that is the rate of return you need to earn now and in the future to live the ideal life you want. Now, again, I will remind you, my message is not about whether Trump is good or bad or the tariffs are good or bad. My message is, do not get distracted by headlines and make emotional decisions. Because as I noted, I got a number of questions this week over email and through the phone about how, if anything, we should be adjusting the portfolio and what should one do. And my message to those people was, just follow the plan, follow the strategy, and it was very well received. So again, I wanted to remind you, I thought it was very timely. Do your best to stay focused on what's important, focus on your goals, and not get distracted by headlines. And things that are not ideal. As I mentioned earlier, if you found value in this video, if you're following it on social media, or if you get an email, go ahead and forward to a friend or share it. And to that end, if you would like a second opinion on your portfolio or financial situation, this is our website at nicholswealth.com. Click on this request an appointment tab, fill out the information, and one of our advisors will reach out to you, answer your questions, and give you some perspective. It may or may not make sense to make some changes given the current market environment and given your goals. But in most cases, again, follow a plan, and I think things will work out for you in the long run. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye.